Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Martian Manhunter. This is the Target exclusive gold label collection classic version. DC Classics, it's a term I haven't heard in a long time. It's really refreshing to see something like this in the McFarlane line. I hope he gives us a lot more classic looks. I love everything he's doing, and this makes me love him even more. So let's go and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus. This is the gold label collection. DC Multiverse Martian Manhunter. Here he's in the package. No traditional accessories, just a collector's card and a display stand. One side of the package, Martian Manhunter, DC Classic. Feels really good to see that on a McFarlane package. Other side, simply says Martian Manhunter. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's the figure posed up. Looking good, looking classic, looking iconic, looking to go to my collection. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He doesn't come with any traditional accessories, simply a display stand and a collector's card. And this guy probably could have used a flight stand. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Martian Manhunter. He's one of the few remaining Martians living on Earth. His real name is John Johns, and he goes by that in his human form. Martian Manhunter has a wide variety of powers, such as shape-shifting, telepathy, flight, invisibility, phasing, super strength, and Martian vision. Quite a wide variety of powers. So let's take a look at him. Now, I enjoy the Rerbirth Martian Manhunter, but this is the version that I'm really liking. Classic, iconic, traditional outfit. He's got the bald head, and I think the head is the same from the Rebirth version. Red eyes, dark around them. Then he's got that signature sort of X in there. The big sort of clasp attached to his cape. Collar popped up. Cape going back, I believe it's the same mold as the Rebirth version. Once again, those X's there. Same color as his belt. It's almost like it was one solid piece. He's got blue trunks here. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. I can see nice texturing on his Martian skin. He's got the boots with the big large part up here. Very signature to Martian's look. I like it. I like it a lot. I hope we get some more DC Classics from McFarlane. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I think they did a pretty nice job. I was kind of expecting this to be the regular version and them to have a gold label version with a elongated, different kind of head. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, says DC on the bottom. It's got one peg for the pegals on his feet, very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the figure, Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter, DC Classic. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his lack of accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.0 inches tall, which is going to translate to just under 18 centimeters, a little bit on the shorter thigh of the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with the head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. Does a pretty good job of not getting obstructed with the collar here. He looks up about that far, down about that far. Can't really look up much, but can look down. Can't tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint. Goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. All that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area. Increasing the range of motion and covering up that gap. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist here. You can rotate. And it's going to be hinged as well. His articulation here. He's got a ball joint in his torso. Another one in his waist. And I was a little worried that these straps were connected to his shorts here, so you wouldn't be able to twist them around. But they did a very good job with that. So the top part here can rotate around, go forward and back. You can't really go all the way because of straps. And the bottom part here, you can go all the way. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but the straps are not connected to the belt. They go sort of underneath the torso and wrap around that way. So you can easily wrap them all the way around, no issue, forward and back. Pretty good range of motion in his torso area. Legs, he goes out about this far, doesn't quite completely do the splits. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is non-existent. They go forward about that far, back, not much. Double jointed knees below that. Then his ankles here, forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock. Also toe articulation. His ankles are done in the newer style, not the ball joints. Looks a lot better, a lot more seamless. Here's Martian Manhunter, flying above the city streets, protecting its citizens. And here's Martian Manhunter on the surface of Mars, with 2 white Martians about to attack him. Martian Manhunter overtaking one of the white Martians, another one sneaking up behind him. And here's Martian Manhunter, covered in a blaze of fire, his only weakness. Now let's check him out, next to some of their action figures, starting off with some of their Martian Manhunter figures. Here's the DC Classics Martian Manhunter, next to the Rebirth version. They're essentially the same figure, but with some different parts. I would say same head, same torso and arms, and then the bottom half is going to be different. Of course, he's got the straps here instead of the sort of more modern versions. And here, next to a DC Direct CW Arrowverse TV Martian Manhunter. And here, next to the Mattel DC Multiverse version of CW's Martian Manhunter. Here's a figure that would potentially work good as Martian Manhunter when he is shapeshifted to his real identity, John Johns. A lot of time, he'll be a detective. This is actually a custom of Jason Bard, private investigator in Gotham that I made recently. But it could double up good for John Johns. Here's Martian Manhunter, next to a couple of McFarlane, Warhammer, Tyrannid Gene Stealers. They work great for some white Martians. Now let's check them out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's the classic Martian Manhunter, next to the Rebirth version. Here's the Action Comics 1000 Superman and the Year 2 Batman, next to the classic Martian Manhunter. All 3 of these figures look great together. McFarlane DC Classics. I love what McFarlane's doing, but please, give me some more DC Classics. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the recently released Page Punchers, which I thought was complete, but then they went ahead and revealed a black and white Black Adam. Here's Martian Manhunter, next to the recent Black Adam movie wave. Then, here he is next to Blackest Nightwave, Collector Build Atrocitus. And here he is next to the 2 most recent Mega figures, Killer Croc and Man-Bat, at least before the Black Adam Mega figures. And people are starting to get Bane and Necron at this point as well. Here's Martian, next to the most recent figures I got from the McFarlane Toy Store, Infinite Frontier Scarecrow, Future State Superman, and the New 52 Static Shock. And here he is, next to the Walmart exclusive Gold Label Parallax. And here he is, next to the Target exclusive Collectible of Star the Conqueror Crime Syndicate wave. We've got Ultraman, Superwoman, and Owlman. Then, next to all 3 variations of Lex Luthor in his power suit. And here, next to both versions of the Dark Detective Batman. And here, next to the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Gold Label variants of the Arkham Knight Scarecrow and Red Hood. Then, next to the Tales of the Dark Multiverse Duke Thomas, and the Batman Who Laughs dressed as Batman. And now, with the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Gold Label Unmasked variations of the Infinite Frontier Robin and the Zur-En-Arrh Batman. Here he is, next to the Batman vs. Hush 2-pack, then with the single release of Hush. And here he is, next to Ghostmaker. Here's Martian, next to the John Kent Superboy and the Tim Drake Red Robin. And here, next to Grifter and the Arkham Knight. Then, next to CW's TV series Flash and the comic version of Godspeed. And finally, next to Injustice 2's Green Arrow and Reverse Flash. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing next to some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, next to some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, with some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is an absolutely fantastic figure. I love the classic look to him. I had the Superpowers Martian Manhunter that looked just like this as a kid. And at the time, I didn't really get who he was. It was a long time before I actually learned who Martian Manhunter was. John Johns. This guy's accessories are garbage, they're non-existent. His sculpt and paint job are excellent. Articulation is everything you would expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. I really like the execution of the straps on his chest. I thought they'd be connected to his belt and interfere with the articulation, but they don't at all. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Maybe it's because I'm just really impressed that they made a classic version of a character, but I'm liking him a lot. There's almost nothing to complain about this guy. Okay, I take that back. I think he's a little bit too short, but not by much. I wish his head would look up a little bit further, but these are very, very minor complaints. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.